All right, we were just waiting to see if we get our fifth person, but we're going to get started, and maybe she'll join us in a little bit. So, good evening. This is the Parks, Recreation, Forestry Committee meeting. Today is Thursday, February 26th, 2026. Wow, that seems weird to say. It is 5:02. I'll call the meeting to order. We do have a quorum, and the agenda was properly posted. So I will move to item 3, public appearances. Public's opportunity to speak about any subject that is not a specific agenda item. Charlie, I see you're on tonight. Could raise your hand if you want to get promoted, or I'm not sure if you're just here to listen or if you want to talk to us about something tonight. We have a new kind of Zoom because of some security things we're having with Zoom. So let us know if you would like to talk about something not on the agenda. I think the raise hand feature sometimes moves around, but I think it's under reactions in the middle there. Otherwise, we don't have anyone in the room.
You're unmuted.
Oh, yeah. Charlie, are you there? Was there something you wanted to? Well, we can always jump back if there's something you want to talk to us about later, or, and now then you figure out. We can always hop back to public appearances. So item 4, discuss and consider the minutes of the Parks, Recreation, and Forestry Committee meeting on January 22nd. Any comments or edits or consideration?
Motion to approve the minutes as presented.
Second.
Motion and second to approve the minutes. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries. All right, then we'll move to item 5, discuss and consider restricting parking during Miracle League games on June 11th from 5 p.m. to 8 p.m. We do have a busy night at the park with the first night of the festival, and then Miracle League will be trying to get their players in and out for their night of play. So we wanted to talk about that parking so we know what to do that night. Sean, is there anything you want to add on to that?
You nailed it. It was a request came in from Bill Schultz, Miracle League Executive Director, he had asked if we could have somebody in the mouth of the parking lot just to make sure that Miracle League folks were able to get in and find a parking spot, being as that was the first night of the festival. So we wanted to bring it here. Initially, we were thinking that maybe we would have to ask for PD assistance, but Kevin, go ahead. Kevin's gonna kind of help us with that.
Yeah, I mean, as far as a busy night of festival, yes and no. Thursday's always like the opening night. We have the line shelter parking lot completely open. We're gonna have parking open on Clark Street and whatnot. And usually people park on, they're parking over on Clark and Grove Street. It's fine. For the village board, I needed to put up signage for Miracle League, and that's fine. We're gonna have that signage. But then Sean brought up a valid concern. So I'm gonna go up there and I'm going to kind of kindly ask people, do you need ADA parking? It's this direction over in the parking lot.
Kevin, hang on, they can't hear you. So either your mic is probably not.
Oh, yeah.
I see it's on.
It's on.
It shows red there,
But
but
Kelly
not
said she
visual.
couldn't hear.
That's fine.
Yep. Try this.
Hello, hello? That one works. Yeah, as far as a busy night of festival, Thursday night's not normally the busiest night of the week for us, so this is very, very good. Lion Shelter parking lot's open. Clark Street will have parking. Grove will have parking. I think we'll be good with pretty much everything. Village wanted me to put up signs, ADA parking, overflow parking over in the grassy area and whatnot. That's totally going to be done. And then the concern was brought up to Sean. Sean relayed the concern. I agreed with it. So I'm going to go and I'm going to place myself up in the parking lot and kind of act as a director of parking for, the Miracle League's got 2 games. So I'm going to go up there for probably the first hour of the first game and the first hour of the second game just to make, kind of usher cars around. There's going to be plenty of parking for ADA accessible. And then if you're like one of the volunteers for the Miracle League, I'd kindly ask you to go park in the overflow parking. If they're going to be there for festival, go to the overflow parking, stuff like that. So just to kind of police that lot. I don't think we need police at all. like Sean just said earlier, I won't be standing at the entrance to the parking lot. I'll be standing deeper into the parking lot to kind of make sure cars don't back up onto Vilas. But that'll work out. That'll work out just fine. I'd be more than happy to help out Miracle League that way. So.
Great, I'm glad we're talking about it ahead of time so we can make sure everything flows well on the night of the event. And I know we're all looking forward to being outside and going to festival and Miracle League games. And so I'm glad that we can plan that out. Questions on that? Otherwise, I really appreciate Kevin talking this through and organizing. I mean, it's a huge event to organize, so working out all the logistics. Questions on that? Otherwise, are we looking for a motion for consideration to?
I think being, am I on? Yes, sorry. I don't think we need to, because if we needed the PD, then we needed board. So I think that we're okay, and we can just report that to the board.
Okay, that sounds great. All right, excellent. Looking forward to the weekend. So then we can move on to item 6, discuss and consider tile wall options for the Bakken Park Playground. So we've been working on all the details of the new playground, the Miracle League's fundraised Bakken Park Playground, and figuring out the tile wall that, how that was installed when the Dream Park was put in. You know, how we can make that work in the new surfacing.
Yep.
So, Sean, you want to take it away?
Yeah, so hot off the press, we had a meeting today to kind of talk about this. A little background, once we kind of got into this, the tile wall as it sits right now is about 4 inches. We need to pull off about 4 inches of topsoil in order to get to level. It sits 4 inches too high, and we weren't really sure what was underneath it. Could we dig out and bring the playground up to it? We just weren't really sure. So we kind of, once this pops up, I think I'm sharing my screen. Yeah. We went out and looked at it and tried to figure out what was underneath it. So after we kind of talked about things today, everybody can see it? Okay. It's 6 inches on one side and about 17 inches on the other. So it's really weird. It's not we were hoping that there was like a frost wall underneath there and that it was just, had plenty of support. It's not so much that. So what we're looking at doing is leaving it where it's at, which is really great, because we thought we were going to have to basically start over and figure out something to do differently with those tiles. But after our discussion today, we think that we can shore up underneath it and then basically leave it right exactly where it's at. And what that's going to look like, if I can bring this up, yep, there we go. So this one, share. So I'll try and make this bigger as well for everybody to look at. Does that, can you see that? I can make it maybe one bigger. There, how's that? That's good. Okay, so that's kind of, this is what we're looking at right now, and that is 100% recouping, taking out the tiles, or excuse me, awesome, thank you, Kelly. The pavers that are there, we're going to pull all of those out and set them aside and then reuse those. The tile walls will remain exactly where they are. And then if you can see my cursor area, you see down here where you guys can't really see that, but it says donor wall recognition, or donor recognition wall with donor plaque. So we're going to build a wall right there, and all of, if you can envision when you walk into that, there's a big 4x10 sheet of plywood, for lack of a better term, that has a lot of donor names on those. We're going to get rid of the 4x8 sheet that is there and recreate all of those names and put them on a plaque that's going to sit on that wall in front. So all of the previous donors will be recognized as well as any new donors that the Miracle League has captured in the, yeah. So I'm really excited about this. I'm excited that we don't have to touch that donor wall and try, because we were really nervous. We can't really pick it up and move it. And Mike Hackle it was great because Mike was there today, and Mike was very involved in the build of the first one. So he knew that those tile walls were not supported by re-rod in the center. So us picking them up and moving them to a different location was not going to happen. And I checked with a tile person, and it would be nearly impossible to take those tiles off. So this really, as of today, this really ended up to be a much better scenario. And we really wanted to try and, obviously take the old and build it into the new, but also make that, the way that it sits right now, it's not as visually appealing as I think what this is going to be. It's going to open up that area. You'll be able to look directly into the playground instead of having those that 4x8 sheets that are in the way. So I'm really happy with this, and I think that we're still achieving all the things that we wanted to, and that was to make sure that we touched as little of the donor stuff as humanly possible. So I'm really happy with that. Any comments from you guys on where we're at right now?
I like it. I like how the old is kind of mixing in with the new. Everything will be good. Question I had, are we still going to save some of the structure for like the dog park?
Absolutely.
That I like, because we're just kind of like, we still got it, we made it. It's a good memory, and then we can move it over and kind of enhance the dog park. There's not really a whole lot out there, so. And
we also, the intention is that we're going to recycle and use absolutely as much of the existing playground as we can. I am in contact right now with Bill, the grounds person for MG. They are because of how things are happening with Cottage Grove School and that expanding, they're actually looking at, he wants to take our entire 2 to 5 area and maybe replant it up there. And it's like, great, that's perfect. So, a portion of it may go right to Cottage Grove School, and then we'll just use the rest of it up as we can. Building picnic tables, benches, things like that. That's the intention.
Could I just
Yeah,
add?
absolutely.
Are we communicating that with like the community as a whole?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, you mean about the recycling part of it? Yeah, we did a lot, and we did before, we will be doing that again.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. The other thing to note too, based on the meeting today, we had originally talked about how the time frame was going to flow. We had originally thought that about May 26th, so the day after Memorial Day, we were going to kind of start the deconstruction, and with the intention of the playground company coming in June 15th, I believe that's the day after the festival, and kind of starting the construction of the playground itself. It seems as if Hamburg Construction is going to be doing a lot of the groundwork and earthwork there. And in a conversation with Mike today, we didn't really consider the time. They need about 2 weeks in there to do the things that they need to do to get the ground back to level. So we're probably going to push. We're going to need to push up the tear down of the current one to the first week of May. So that gives us an extra 2 weeks in there that we can, get that done. My biggest fear with this whole project, if we don't shift that forward and start taking this down sooner to allow for everybody to get in there in the time that they want, is that it gets pushed back so far into the fall that we end up with a playground that's up and ready to go, but we don't have surfacing, because the surfacing requires temperature. I think we can't get down below 50, and then we would end up, with a playground sitting there that looks done, that has no surfacing, that we can't open until next year. Who knows when, because that really depends on the spring, and if it's cold, it could be June. And this is there's a lot of poured in place here, so it's going to take them a week just to do the poured in place part of it. So, and a cool part about that is that the playground company is providing the security that we need sitting there so that nobody jumps on that port in place or whatever when it's fresh. So me or Josh don't have to sleep overnight at the park, so that's great. And when I say me or Josh, I really mean Josh, but
Of course you do.
I was gonna say, I can't vote.
Right?
I mean, not with you, but no.
So the update to the updated timeline is not May 26th to remove it, but like 2 weeks prior to that, with June 15th still being like the construction timeline when it
Correct.
starts, and then still hopefully September 11th on the opening.
yes, that's exactly what
Awesome.
we're hoping for, yep.
Right, and with like festival and stuff, as long as I got a place to put the carnival workers and I have a way to make my path, we're golden. So they have their little zone area, and if we have, it's important to juggle that so then we have room for Miracle League and places for people to park and whatnot too. But I think Hamburg will be excellent on that.
So we have people down there every day, and it's gonna be a shock to some people, but the end product is gonna be phenomenal. So just so you know, there'll be construction, 6-foot tall construction fence all the way around that entire project. So with, do not enter signs, things like that. We don't want people climbing in there but everything else will be open. Splash pad will still be open, untouched, restroom, shelter, all that stuff. The area that sits right in front of the shelter, kind of where people gather for music in the Grove, that area is going to be part of the staging area. So it's not looking like we're going to be able to do any music in the Grove stuff this year at all, or at least not at Bakken Park. Again, the end result is going to be phenomenal. So that's the update. Anybody have any issues with that? I mean, again, we're taking a playground away for pretty much the whole summer, and it's sooner than I had hoped for, but we have to allow for everybody to get in there and get the work done. So I don't think I need any motion. Any motion. I don't think I need a motion for anything. I was expecting much different than what we actually got today. I thought we were going to have to look at redoing that entire entryway, and then it was like, again, protecting the spirit of what has been accomplished already. So I think we're in a great place.
Again, another thing where I'm glad we're planning ahead and figuring all this stuff
Exactly.
out in advance. So I think another good example of that on this agenda item. Any other questions on the tile wall or timeline? Nope. All right, great. Then we probably will need a motion on this next item. Discuss and consider allowing for alcohol consumption from 5 to 10 at Bakken Park for Dinks and Drinks event. There was a memo in your packet about the pickleball events, June, July, August, and September.
Yeah, as Heidi mentioned, memo in your packet. We did this last year. The event, all of the events were a big hit. Lots of people, anywhere from 30 to 60 people, I think, showed up. We're gonna do, July 17th is food, everybody brings a donation for the food pantry. And then August 14th, we're doing Stuff the Bus night, which again was a very successful night last year. These folks are great. They just hang around, have a couple beers. It doesn't get crazy down there. I don't know if Charlie's still on, but he can hopefully attest to that. So, and when they're hanging out and being social, they would like to do have a couple of beers while they do that. So, just basically asking for approval on the same event we've done in the past.
So the alcohol is not for sale, right? Or
Correct.
just
It is
carrying in?
not for sale, carry-in.
Okay.
And the area is really confined to the court area too, so.
Yeah, otherwise they would need that liquor license and whatnot. I have a motion to approve allowing alcohol in the park for the Dinks and Drinks event.
I will second that motion.
Further discussion? I did have one question about glass. Do we say no glass, or is that, would that?
Their alcohol is not allowed on the court.
Okay.
So, but we haven't ever specified no glass. Maybe that's probably a good one
I
to.
think, yeah, and didn't we specify, like,
in the Grove?
outside of the, yeah, not even the playing surface, I think, outside of the fenced area, because like, even in between, there's that
Right.
non-playing
Yep.
surface.
Yeah, we can certainly, as we're promoting things, we can certainly say that, no glass in the park.
Yeah, just I don't know, people change their shoes, and, before they start playing. I think there are pickleball shoes. I don't have all the equipment, but don't want anyone to walk on a little
Where is Penny
glass
when
or
we need
something.
this information?
Right. We just had direction on that, or do you want that in part of the motion?
What?
No
The-
glass?
I think just direction is
Okay.
good with that.
All right,
Yeah.
sounds good. All right, any other discussion on this item then? All right, hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstained? Motion carries. All right, well, we'll keep Sean talking. This was also attached in the packet, your director's report.
Yeah, doing a little different moving forward, so you guys will see what we're going to talk about. I'm just going to kind of give a high-level overview of this. A couple things I do want to talk about, but so you'll get an advanced copy instead of me just reading it. You already know it. So our Village View went out on February 18th. The phone rings off the hook at 10 o'clock, and it's crazy, and it's really cool. And now that we're doing it virtually, basically, it's really, we find mistakes and things that should have been there that weren't in there, or times and things. So it's just beautiful that we can go in and change that stuff. And every time you click on that link, it always takes you to the most current guide. So that's awesome. New programs, we talked a little bit about that. Staff attended WPRA conference. We had, Trista was our conference chair this year, so record-breaking number. Everybody was there to see Trista, who's currently in Cancun, so somebody's got to work, but good for her. Park rentals coming in nicely. Again, we're going to push that a little bit more, but we're already telling people about Bakken Park. Obviously, that's the most rented shelter that we have, so we're letting them know that it's a little bit of a construction zone down there, but business as usual. Let's see, a monthly puzzle exchange. That's, again, it's crazy busy. It's awesome to see. 50 people we had on February 18th. So, that continues to be a very, very positive thing. I showed you a little bit about the picnic table picnic table dolly. I don't know if anybody clicked on that. But that was a Josh and staff creation.
Did they patent that?
They haven't yet, and I don't want Josh making $1 million on this thing, but it really helps us a lot because it saves it. We don't have to necessarily get machinery in there to move things around. Those tables are extremely heavy, which is partially by design so that people don't move them around, but that was a really cool thing that they came up with. Let's see, where else am I? Oops, lost my mouse. Picnic table diving. Bakken Playground prep stuff. We started removing some of the sponsor signage that was on the equipment there, so we're saving all of that stuff. Again, all of those sponsors that were on specific equipment, they will be recognized on panels throughout. Miracle League is doing some stuff where they're selling some things that we can mount, but we just kind of started getting ahead of that if we could. Again, I put in the report that it was Memorial Day, but we're a little bit sooner than that. The big one that I wanted to talk about, and I put some information in here, is about a mowing route that we discovered. And if you took a moment to look at that, would you like me to share that? I can share it? Yeah. Sure. Okay, I'll do that. There we go. Make that a little bigger. Okay, well, let's see if we can go bigger than that. There. Okay, so first one that we looked at was this stretch of Taylor/Ridge Road. As I put in my memo, we don't really know why we mow it. So I'm open to interpret, especially Jay, if you've been around a while on this committee a while. But we mow basically on the south side, as you can see, we mow roughly from Heather all the way out. We stop at the house that's about halfway through, and then, can I move this?
Doesn't have anything to do with the Village Township? Yeah.
It is, it is annexed into the village, so it is considered village, but it's the same, in my mind, it's the same as your terrace at home. You mow your terrace, even though the village has a right of way through that. This is the same type of thing. So it takes us, it takes us a couple hours or about an hour to mow this. It's a couple of passes out and then a couple of passes back. And as you can see, we stop in some interesting spots, and then it even continues all the way down to basically the first house past the forest that we mow. So unless anybody has an issue with that, that's the first area.
I'm all for mowing in front of the school forest. Everything else can get nixed.
Mowing, even though that's not our property, that's MG property. Some of it's the district property, and some of it is the homeowner that lives.
So it's across the street from the forest?
No, we mow right in front of the forest, but it's not our property.
I mean, is MG gonna mow it then?
No.
That's the thing I was thinking of. That was I don't even know if it was an understanding. I think we just did it because it was MG property, and so it was just an agreement that we'll just mow it.
And that's fine. I mean, that is really, if you're looking at the map, I think that's, if you can see my cursor, I think that's about right there.
Yeah.
So that's where the property, so that, I mean, that's not a huge deal. If if you guys want us to continue to mow that stretch,
Yeah.
I would
in
like
front of
that.
the forest, we can absolutely do
Yeah,
that.
Do they mow further attached to that? Like, do they mow
To the
like right?
north?
Yeah, just to the north of that strip?
I think they just mow a path in there, through the forest.
Yeah, someone's gotta mow and maintain the paths inside the school forest, right?
They do that.
They do that. So, I mean, then they could kind of mow in front there also. We just gotta relay that information.
Yeah, and I can have a conversation with Bill from the school district and just say, here's what we're thinking. Are you guys gonna mow this, or, we can continue to do it. It's mostly, I mean, that's a little chunk, and we're obviously, we're over there, we're mowing, this big blue stretch that you see, that's something that we mow. That's a waterway that we mow through there, and we have to get to Houston Park, so it's not taking us, it's the stretch all the way out Ridge Road and back. Even with that hour is with a 12-foot mower that we're making 2 passes, so it ends up eating up a little bit of time. Jay?
Yeah, no, I agree. I don't know why we mowed all the way out there. Probably just over the years, it's like we did it, so let's just keep doing it.
Yeah, there are a lot of, and I even reached out to Larry Cooper, who recently retired, just as Larry had been here forever. He didn't know either. He was like, yep, we were just told to mow things at times, so. That was the first location. The second one is this location on the corner of Vilas and Clark. What I put in my square, that's the area that we're potentially going to stop mowing. All homeowner property. It's all that the homeowner, even owns a small strip over just to the north of Clark Street. But we're going to mow, and right now we mow that whole stretch because nobody will if we don't. The homeowner's not going to come in and mow just a little stretch, and we know that the railroad isn't going to do anything. So if we don't mow it, it's going to be we feel like it's not a very pleasant view into the village.
I thought the railroad was the whole north side of that intersection.
There's a small sliver
Okay.
that nobody knows why, there just is. So really what we're looking at is as that area right in front of that house that we're mowing, that we're saying we would rather not.
Correct.
And if everybody's good with it, we're going to, I'll send letters to the property owners. There's about 3 of them on Taylor and Ridge, and then this property owner here, and just say, our plan is that we're going to say as of April 1st, so that really just means this year or whenever our mowing season begins.
Kevin said April 1st.
Anybody have any thoughts on that?
The only question I have is that corner, I'm trying to think where the stop sign is. Like, is it going to create, if they don't mow it properly, is it going to create a problem looking left to pull out?
The stop sign would be on the north side of Clark.
Yep.
So we're going to mow all of the north side still, just the south side. There isn't a stop sign on the south side.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
So there isn't any signage in there that would be,
Okay.
that would be affected.
I have another question too. So on the previous map, it shows us mowing way out there on Ridge Road. Now, if you think about township-wise, they do go out and mow alongside their roads like twice a year. Is that something that we have more of a brush hog type mower that we could do that maybe once or twice a year? Just so that we don't, deer and rabbits and raccoons and stuff don't go running across the road.
Well, what we're really doing is relying on the homeowner to mow their property. Or the property owner to mow their property.
Yeah,
instead of, I mean, if it becomes,
I get that. I'm just trying to think of how the township does it with maintaining their roads. I agree with having the property owners take care of their own property, but if all of a sudden they don't, then that might create an issue.
yeah, I could certainly see this section right here. You see my cursor? This house right here. I could certainly see that. I mean, they have a big private lot. And then to the east of that, it's just farm field, and I could see where that could become an issue there, where like nobody's going to mow that, but I'm still, and ultimately, we could end up doing it again, and then maybe the village decides to charge the homeowner for that, but yeah, I don't know.
Well, exactly. I'm just trying to think about how the village takes care of like their town style roads. That's all.
Yeah, like along Bus Road,
Yep.
for example. Yeah, because you just, like, you see the mower with the one side down and it goes, yeah.
Yeah, we don't currently, the village doesn't have a piece of equipment like that, so anything that we have to do, we end up hooking an attachment up to the skid steer. Isn't great, it isn't what you're talking about, but it does, we don't have that many areas that we have to take care of like that, so we don't really need a brush mower, so to speak. Any other thoughts? And this kind of came up with, we were kind of looking at our mowing routes, and then there's going to be an Amazon trail that, I don't know, right now it's going to be a trail to nowhere, but I think it pretty much covers that entire property on the east and on the south. And I think the developer agreement said that we have to maintain that trail. So we'll be removing snow on that and then probably mowing a little bit on each side. So we were kind of looking at it going like, okay, we're adding a bunch of mowing, and then we found this, so this kind of helps.
So like in my neighborhood, when we had the trail, I think Hamburg built it until they like signed off on engineering or, whatever, signed off on that phase of the development, and then the village took over.
That's correct.
So would that be the same then for Amazon? Like once they have like occupancy or whatever the equivalent of occupancy is, or like,
Yeah.
because they're not
I
going to
know what you
open until 2027, right? So
Correct.
we won't be maintaining that for a little bit.
And I'm not 100% sure when that trail is actually going in, because aren't they, Heidi, you probably know way more about this than I, but aren't they doing some of the intersection or road work and stuff? Isn't that happening this year?
There's going to be more to come on that, because I think
Okay.
the county is,
Okay.
the county and the state are the ones that negotiated the county highway improvements. We have
Okay.
some, but then they have more
So
requirements.
I guess my point is maybe it goes in when they do that work. So it could be, I haven't heard when it's going to happen.
I mean, they're gonna have occupancy probably in the next week or two, so they can get in there and do their machining and robots and stuff like that. But as far as a path or things for us to maintain on that side, now we have to transport equipment over there in the summer and in the winter.
We're out that way. I mean,
Are you?
we take in the winter, we take the trail all the way out to to
okay.
the interstate, and then we're mowing out there anyways on some property stuff. So it's a little bit farther, but we're there.
But yeah, we'll have the trail connection from Damascus up to Bus Road too.
Yep.
In front of the school, and then that's gonna wrap around the corner over to Granite Ridge. So yeah, that is another,
Josh is going to be busy.
yeah.
So, yeah, we're going to move forward with that and Heidi's just going to kind of report that to the board on Monday, unless you guys can think of some reason. And I will check on that property, especially in front of the forest, and just see if we can come up with an agreement there. Otherwise, I don't disagree. If you want to see that mowed, we can absolutely keep doing that.
I'd like to see it mowed, but if they're gonna be out there mowing the trails anyway, they can take care of that front area.
Yeah, because, yeah, okay. Yep, we're good.
Other questions, comments for Sean on the mowing things or anything else in his report?
I think that was all that I had, yes.
Okay. All right, then, future agenda items. What are we looking at for March?
We'll have a playground update, for sure. We have a pre-con meeting finally for Shady Grove next week, so that should be getting up and running. I'll have more information on that. So Shady Grove update would be one for next time. And
Something we haven't talked about in a while is that giant park that Hamburg was gonna build up in their area. Do we know timeline on that maybe, or even a year?
I don't, but I'll investigate, yep.
Cool.
I think last financial management plan, I think I put it in there for like 2033 or 2030, but those are just placeholders, and I don't know. That's a great question.
It's been years since we talked about it.
Yep.
Yeah. All right, anybody else have anything else for next month's agenda? Otherwise, if you think of something, you can let Sean know. Otherwise, all we have left, item 10.
Motion to see you later.
I second.
Motion and second, non-debatable. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thanks so much, everybody, for your time.
Thank you.
Spring, thinking about parks and being outside.
So music in the Grove, we can just probably move it back to Dublin. We only have, what, 3 musics?
Yeah, not,
It's not as many.
we can't do it to the extent that what I wanted to do is less events
Yeah.
and get better quality acts, and so.
You just like Taylor